I've never used this before.
Live. Look at that.
Okay. So I don't know where the viewers are. This is new. Comments. Okay.
Whoa. Oh, hey, look at that. I see that. There's like private chat. Boom.
Cool. All right. So I guess we'll get started. Oh, I just got the pop-up from I think I got a pop-up from one of us. Okay. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Didn't finish that.
Everybody, welcome to our live stream. I guess we're going to go ahead and go around and just introduce. So we're currently live streaming to all three of our channels all at once. So I thought we could start off by introducing ourselves to each other's audience. So I guess my name is Val. Adventure 30 is what you'll know me as on the internet. I'm a mechanical engineer. I work with weld manufacturing and heavy equipment. And then Jeeps have been kind of my passion since I was 12, I think. So I've owned a Jeep since I was 16, and I found Jeep Camp when I was in high school. So I actually attended my very first Jeep Camp in 2014 with a 2012 JKU Sahara. It was bone stock, had plastic steps on it. It went flawlessly. So bad. It was so bad. Some of the club members actually still remember me from that whole ordeal 10 years ago at the 10th anniversary Jeep Camp. It was so bad.
Nice.
I just post your stuff. All right.
Cool.
Who's next?
My name's Ty. I run the Drew the Jeep YouTube channel, and it's mainly just adventures. I do Jeep stuff, like to get out and camp, and I also handle land use for Black Hills Jeeps. Behind the scenes, the community here is working on like a coalition, so I help a lot with that. I just do a lot of land use stuff out here. I'm a firm believer in everybody doing their part to keep stuff open. That's kind of like the platform I've been going towards. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk about Jeep Camp with everybody. This year was an awesome year. The club, I'm really proud of the club and the job they did. This was a lot of the people's first year running the event. It's a whole new board, so I was really proud to see everybody do such a killer job. So,
no worry, Val. No one saw that.
Right.
All right, so I'm Adam. I obviously work for Iron Rock. See all the swag. Make sure everybody sees that. So I work at Iron Rock. I am kind of the jack of all trades here. I started off as a design guy in the R&D department, designing new Jeep parts, new Jeep suspension, all kinds of stuff, skid plates, everything. I've kind of moved over into a little bit more of the marketing side as the guy who runs the YouTube channel. I am never the guy in front of the camera. I'm always the guy behind the camera, but that's okay. I'm happy to be here and represent. And yeah, that's me.
It's fun pulling you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been editing video from Jeep Camp all day, so that's usually what I fill my day with.
I've been working on and off since I got back from Jeep Camp, and I have so much footage. It's insane.
Yeah, I didn't film anything, and I took probably 4 pictures.
Yeah.
So
yep.
This year I really just focused on hanging out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You need a break sometimes.
Yeah, it was good.
When all you do is film, I only took like 4 pictures. So
I took a decent amount of pictures, but so we bought a Insta360 in Rapid on our way to camp. It was our first outing with it, first ever time using it.
Yeah.
And we realized about, I don't know, all the way down Iceman and about halfway back, realized that most of it was filmed in hyperlapse. So I don't have really any content with the Gladiator, even though we brought both Jeeps. 90% of what I have is my husband's big bad LJ. But it did great.
Well, once you get that Insta360 figured out, I'd like to know all about it because I'm really tired of my GoPros.
I'll give you a crash course. So I've got the Insta360. I've got the Pocket Osmo 2. I don't have the 3 that everybody's flaunting all over the internet right now. And then
I just picked one up. Just picked one up. I'm kind of excited. Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. What's that?
You got the 3?
Yeah, I literally showed up today. So I sold one of my old drones and was like, you know what? I've been wanting to get one. I'll give it a run.
Yeah, so far the 360 seems really cool. It is really overwhelming to edit because it films everything. So, I mean,
oh gosh,
you didn't miss the shot, but at the same time, you have multiple shots.
Holy cow.
So,
that's a double-edged sword.
We could potentially have like the angle of him like showing me, spotting me, as well as me running the trail, running the line. And then if I mess up, I could get like his reaction or vice versa, whoever's filming.
That's kind of cool.
So, I mean, that's
really cool.
There's potential. We just got to play with it a little bit more. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool. So Ty, you've been part of the club for a while, right?
Ooh. Yeah. So my first like club run, I don't know if we'll count that because I picked up my Jeep in like 2015 and went on a club run like 2017 and met everybody. And then it wasn't until Steve Berg kind of brought me into the club run in 2018. And, I'd been to Jeep camp, but not for the whole event. The first 2 years, I just go up there and help on the weekends because I was working and was still pretty new and learning everything. And this was my 18, 19, like 5th, 6th year. And I had a lot of fun. That's kind of why I didn't film is years past. I kind of focused on filming, but this year I was just like, I want to like all my favorite people are here. I wanted to focus on hanging out. And I guess a little bit of history of the event. So everybody that's tuning in, I don't know how many people are watching or whoever watches this later. So Jeep Camp started with the club back in 2004. Black Hills Jeeps was also established in 2004, and it split off of the Black Hills four-wheelers. A big part of it was wanting to provide a club. It started as Black Hills XJs, a club for XJs here in the Black Hills, like the Grand Cherokees, the Cherokees, all that. But they quickly discovered that they realized that an all Jeep club would really take off here. So they switched to Black Hills Jeeps and hosted their first Jeep camp in 2004. It was at the Wild Bill Campground. And actually, funny fact about that, the Dakota Territory Cruisers, our local Toyota club, actually loaned us the money to host our first Jeep camp. So shout out to the Toyota Club here in Rapid City. They definitely helped us kickstart something that I'm really appreciative of today. So the one we just hosted was our 20th anniversary. It was a big deal, 20 years. I think the next oldest is old. It's like 40 years. The Dakota Territory Challenge has been going on for like 40 years. But for us, it was 20 years. It was our birthday, and tried to change a couple things about it when it came to food and stuff like that. But overall, it's the same event that was going on for years past. So it was a good year for it.
So it was my 5th year going to Jeep camp. And I think the changes that you guys made were awesome. So there was the online registration, which I thought was really cool.
We love that.
Mail in and hope you made the cut and you know if your check got deposited.
You're like watching your bank account for like days to come, trying to make sure.
Reserve a campground and hope we're good.
Yeah.
So that was like a really awesome change. I also liked this year that you guys had like a rough plan of what trails you wanted to run every day. Since we brought 2 Jeeps, it was really nice being able to kind of plan accordingly with what we were going to do with what Jeep on what day. Because I made a deal with the club, would only pay for one, leave some spots for other people. I didn't want to like pay for 2 spots and then like take a spot from somebody that really wanted to be there. But I still wanted to bring both Jeeps. They said, as long as you're not running both at the same time, you're good. So that was pretty cool. And it was
really hot swapping. If one broke, you got the other one.
Yeah, that actually did happen. That about, was it after the loading dock obstacle, I think, on Iceman. All of a sudden, everybody's crowding around the front end of my Jeep. I'm like, what happened? What happened? And it started losing a lot of diff fluid, the front driver's side.
Oh
seal.
yeah, your seal.
Now,
Mhm.
it took about a half a quart of diff fluid to get it home. And
Did you see the picture of
Yeah.
one of them, the 5-gallon bucket of diff fluid that we had back at camp? We were ready. One of our members, Josh, 2 of his axle seals were leaking. Then Allie, the treasurer, who was kind of running everything, she was on like the break-in fluid for her gears. She had just had gears done, so we had to do a fluid swap in camp.
hot spot camp.
So we would have had you covered.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that did happen on the first trail, and it was still better than last year. So last year on the night run, we finished off my drive line, and then
I
we
remember
missed
that.
the next 2 days worth of Jeep camp trying to like find a drive line. And I remember we asked everybody in the club, do you have a drive line? Do you have a drive line? Who do you recommend? And you guys ended up recommending it was Rapid Shaft and Gear if we were willing to throw down some cash. And
Yep.
we decided to just do it. We threw down the cash. The guys were awesome. They got all the parts for us. They built it and installed it for us within like 24 hours, which
Nice.
was awesome. It did cost us a lot of money. But
I'm sure.
salvaged our weekend. We still got one day last year. So this year definitely went a lot better than last year because, you know, we sprung a leak in the Gladiator. We just parked it and ran the LJ the next 2 days.
Yep.
I want to point
It's always
out
good to have a spare.
how quiet Adam is because he's never had issue. He just rolls up and like wheels it and is like, "Oh, that was
Yeah.
fun," and then yeah.
Yeah, a few new scratches on the bottom, no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was Tent City? Someone said I needed to like look into that next year or
Tent
something.
City. Tent
was-
City is like where all of the there's pretty much like there's 2 campgrounds right where we host the event. There's Steel Wheel, which has kind of been the spot for like 10 years, 12 years. And it's like RVs only. And a lot of us, you know, we're rocking tents. So the tent or the campground next door is Hidden Valley. And it's literally, I mean, you can walk between the two. And in the very back, if you go all the way back to Tent City, where all the tents are, it's
Okay.
literally the other half of the club. It's also kind of where all the rowdy people are. I'm
Oh,
sure.
okay. That's where
Yeah.
the party is what you're telling me.
Yeah, that's where the party's at.
Yep.
So we have a good time. I gotta like do a detox, like, you know, it's like a 4-day bender. So
That was about how I felt. It was like a 4-day bender. You were baking in the sun
Mhm.
all day. I mean, the weather was gorgeous. Couldn't have asked for better weather.
oh yeah,
I mean,
we got so lucky. Like I was saying earlier before we started, like the after Jeep camp, it's been either high 90s or hail and rain. Like we got so lucky. So incredible weather for the whole event. Everything went super well. We can't thank Iron Rock Off-Road and Adam coming down like enough. It's so nice to have them come out. Kind of just provides like a whole different experience for the people that come to the event too. So the event itself, just like I said, it went really well. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for me, this was my second year. So that's probably why I didn't see you last year, Val, because you
it was
broke the
broke
drive line.
the year.
Yeah.
Pretty much missed Jeep camp last year, but I mean, we
Yeah.
had a lot of fun just hanging out in Deadwood, and we did find ways to pass the time. And last year, one of the trail days got rained out pretty bad anyways. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
went on a wine run, which I would have gone if we didn't have to
Yep.
go and get a drive line.
Yep.
They took
I was going to say,
short-
last year's weather, we had that rain. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had to like hunt for dry trails. Like I remember going out with, I think Mitch was with me at the time. We were just cutting across to all the different trail systems to see what was still dry. And it turned out like the Jake area, Raspberry Ridge, Jake, the Cereal Bowl was all dry. So we got super lucky, but we had to pack everybody that wanted to go in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that was fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight up in there.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you get into Jake, because it's those 2 sections, and Like
Yeah.
people ride up on the bypass, but that second section, if you're not in there, you're just sitting there. Even if you're in there, you're just sitting and waiting for, half the day. So
Yeah, we did that one this year with the LJ, and it was awesome. So that first waterfall on Upper Jake, we did not make it up it in the Gladiator without the winch. Made it up it
Yeah.
with the LJ. It was awesome.
nice.
And we
What
didn't
day did you guys go?
Huh?
What
day?
day did you guys go through Jake? Was it the second or third day?
That was on Saturday that we went.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were in the group with Steve, who had an
Oh yeah, his oil pan.
that was part of the recovery, actually. It started sputtering and then it just kind of died on the obstacle. So we were behind him, and then we had to get another 2 Jeeps back in to kind of like get him up and over the obstacle with no power steering. I mean, I give Steve mad
that's
props.
fun.
He was in high spirits the whole time, trying to like wrestle it over the rocks with no power steering.
That's awesome.
I know Ty always says Jake is always an adventure. Even though that second section isn't too long, it always proves to be where all the stories happen.
Yeah, I think it took an hour and a half to get Steve's rig out of there, and then we get out of there, and he was able to bump start it and drive it back to camp.
Nice.
Drop the clutch and take off.
We have there's so much stuff. Like Jake, upper section of Jake always claims so many victims. It's crazy. It's getting so much harder. One of our club members, Mike Wentworth, or associate members, was sent us some pictures into the group one day, and seeing how that trail used to look to compare where it is now, like that first waterfall, that little like shark fin bump up that you got to go up, that was all underground. Like that was not exposed. It was just that second little section, like a rig on 30s could have done it. And now to see it, it's just crazy how quickly things change in here.
Yep.
What was your guys' favorite? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Last year I didn't make the first waterfall in Jake. I had to winch, but the second waterfall, I made it, which not many other people did. So I was holding my head high. But this year, I decided to, film as much as I could. So I parked my Jeep and filmed it all. But there were so many people that had trouble. We ran out of time. I couldn't get back in there. So I might have to make another trip to South Dakota.
Next year.
Or next year.
We lucked out on the Jake run. There was like 8 of us. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even with the break, we still all got to like go through pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see some carnage on Jake, that second waterfall. I got it. It's one of the best footage that I've had. I don't know, Ty, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
The red Cherokee.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah,
I heard that go down. Yeah. Poor guy.
He has
shout out to Chris Hornig.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'll wait till after.
Okay. So the Mark, he has a red Cherokee XJ, and it's got our long arm kit on it. It's got our leaf springs. It's got our steering kit on it. It's really, really clean. I think it's on 35s with just a rear locker. And he was right there in that second waterfall, and that back passenger tire just got hooked just right. And it was just about to crawl over, and somebody said, "Hey, give it a little bit more." And he did, and it just, so you'll have to wait until tomorrow. I turned it into a reel or a short, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's launching tomorrow as my little teaser.
I heard that happen.
Dang.
I also heard Josh just bash his Jeep trying to get up that second waterfall as well. This rev limiter and everything.
Yeah. Poor Josh. He also has our long arm kit on his TJ.
Yep.
He was doing that first waterfall, and I'm like, man, why is he struggling so much? And then I took my eyes off the camera and actually looked at him, and I'm like, hey, you don't have your lockers turned on, guy. You got a Rubicon. What are you doing?
I do that all the time. People are like, why are you struggling? Are your lockers on? I'm like, no. I mean, it's a
you guys in your fancy
it's
go
so
anywhere
easy.
buttons.
Oh my God, I forget the button all the time. And then like I forget to turn it off and I can't figure out why the damn thing won't steer.
Yep. Yeah, I call mine my steering or no steering switch. I just
Right?
reach up and flip it, and then I can't steer.
That
So-
was what I like about our LJs. That's actually got mechanical lockers in it. There's no remembering a button or anything because it just kind of like when it starts slipping, it engages and it goes. It's
Yep.
so far seems to be pretty slick actually.
Yeah, I've got a Spartan locker in the back of my Cherokee, and I did a video on it. I've had that for probably almost 100,000 miles now, and it's done incredible. I've absolutely loved that thing.
Yeah, what rear axle do you have? The 8 1/4?
Yep, 8 1/4.
That's
So
the
disc brake
axle that Mark
conversion.
broke.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm on 33s, and that Jeep, the other one's kind of getting retired from the hard stuff. I beat on it for a long time, and then I was like, man, if I keep doing this, it's not gonna last as long as I want it to. So that's why I built the YJ. I just got to finish it now.
I can't wait to see that
So,
YJ.
yeah, we're almost there. Like all of the big heavy duty fabrication is done. It's just tidying up so I'm comfortable taking it onto the trails. That's been a big part. The fuel lines in the back are really sketchy for how we like pushed everything out of the way, and I am very afraid of burning it down. So
If it's not a little sketchy, is it really a Jeep?
mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was going to ask, what was your guys' favorite trails this year? What was your favorite trail you ran?
So I'll let Adam go first.
So the first day we ran Jake and Raspberry Ridge, which I
Yep.
did last year. Raspberry Ridge is nice, but it's a little too tame for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I was looking forward to Jake, and then of course, I was trying to get the footage, so I missed out on wheeling Jake.
Yeah.
But I remember last year, which was my first year, hearing that Iceman was where it's at. So this year,
yeah.
I made sure to get on Iceman, and that was really great because you got to wheel all the way in, and the only way to get out is all the way back out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're hitting all those obstacles from the other direction, which is very unique and very fun.
It's like a different trail coming out of there.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you have to think like, how am I going to get back up this?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We had such good days all 3 days. It's really hard to pick a favorite, but Iceman is something I've been wanting to do since we overhauled the Gladiator. So our Gladiator's first outing to Jeep Camp was in 21, I believe. And it had a 2-inch lift in 35s, and poor Charles was like, we'll figure out how to get this thing through here on all the trails that we did. So that Jeep Camp was incredibly enlightening, and we lifted it. It's got a 4.5-inch lift in 38. So we came back to Jeep Camp 22 with the bigger lift and tires. But it was still new, and we hadn't fully vetted everything. We weren't totally sure on it, knowing that Iceman was an in and out, and you had to be able to come back out, no bypasses. We didn't do it. But another Jeep that was built very similarly, I think had 37s and a 4.5. He went through it. So after he told us that he went through it, Iceman was kind of like the thing that I really, really wanted to do. We broke last year. Finally got to do it this year. So I'm going to go probably my favorite. It was
Nice.
it was so satisfying getting Gladiator in and out of it. I thought it was actually easier coming back out. But maybe everybody says it's harder coming back out. It's easier going down, but maybe the wheelbase was a small advantage coming back out. I don't know. I thought it was easier coming out.
Iceman has definitely got like a reputation, because I also guide that one for Jeep Jamboree, and 2 years ago I went to go pre-run it and ripped my steering gear off, and that was fun. We got it out of there though. It got it all the way home, and so that's kind of where the Cherokee got retired. And Iceman is provides a whole different experience when you're going down, coming out of there. It's a lot of fun. Hey, John joined. What's up, John? So John Biggers, he's the vice president of the club. He's got the gray bone stock 4-door JL, and he has done a lot in that thing, including Jake.
That's impressive.
Yes. We've used the winch, but made it. I remember when we first ran it in the snow with him. Had like white plates and everything.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, Iceman was a fun one. We actually had, so we had a stock Rubicon jail that was in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of winching with that one, a lot of stacking rocks with that one. But we were getting
She
in
won
and
the
out.
Turtle Award.
She did win the Turtle Award. It was
Yeah.
probably from that trail alone. And one of the club members, his CJ broke on that trail too.
There you guys are.
Kurt. It was Kurt.
Yep.
Kurt's
Kurt
CJ.
broke.
The control arm ripped off, like the bracket ripped off, and he
Mhm.
lost a
Oh,
quick
wow.
line, and it was a mess. Went through, I think.
So he
went through 4 or 5
Oh.
straps and finally got it out with like towing him out and using a soft shackle and his winch to suck everything back up.
I heard about that. So his CJ is actually on an old school black diamond. It was owned by Warren, but a black diamond coilover conversion. And this was like 2005 when they came out. The only reason I know about it is because the YJ I bought had that same lift. And yeah, if like the bracketry for like the track bar and the upper and lower control arm, it's almost all designed together. So if you rip any of that off, like it's all coming off together. So yeah, whenever it did it, he was just like, I'm just going to wait until I can fix it properly. He's like, it's all going to get fixed. So,
But then everybody was giving me a hard time, like that big Gladiator and all that space, and you don't have a welder.
It's
You
the
gonna
one
buy
thing
me
you
one?
forgot.
With welding
Yeah.
for a living, so then it got even worse. They're like, so you work with welding for a living, you have this giant rig, and you don't have a welder on.
Patrick T, I see it down there. So I just run tail gun for the Black Hills Jeep Jamboree in Deadwood, South Dakota, and I'm on the Purple Trail. So I tail gun for that. So and Tweener, Tweener LJ, I believe that's a silver LJ. They're out of New Mexico. He was out at the event. You're right. Despite breaking, he kept up.
You did. I was I was at the back of the group. We were like the honorary tail gun while the recovery broke off, and they did catch up to us. And
Holy cow.
we all got off the trail at the same time.
Yeah. So keeping with the theme of Jeep Camp, every year there is like a moment that kind of sticks out specifically to me. So my favorite memory, essentially, if you have one, for me, there's a ton, but if you've got your favorite memory from this year, go ahead, let's share it.
Oh boy.
Well, I think I
That's a
have
hard
mine.
Okay, go
All right.
ahead.
So on I think it was Saturday, we ran, it was the Iron Rock and Roll run, which the morning was scenic, which was
And the
fantastic.
second half,
Yeah, the second half, we went
Second
to
half.
Camp 5. But
Yes.
I told Ty, I'm like, I really want to hit some hardcore stuff. I'm like, how about I just hop off on Hal Johns, maybe for just a section? He's like, all right, we can do that. I think there's a couple guys in the group that would want to do that. And so we hop off, and it's just an easy riverbed for like 100 yards. I'm like, where's the obstacle?
Yep.
And then we get to this waterfall, and I was following a couple TJs. What was that guy's name? Nate?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nate and Terry, their dad.
Yeah. Yep. And they went up that waterfall, struggled, and I made it. We stacked a couple rocks. But
You
we made
walked up it. You walked up it.
it with my limited slip in the rear.
Yeah.
But the part that stuck out to me was like, oh, that was awesome. All right, let's get back on Camp 5. And then I look ahead, and there are 6-foot boulders. Then I'm like, guys, like you can't get back on Camp 5. No, that's a user created cheap path, you know, can't do that. We got to tread lightly. And I'm like, oh crap. And I got to drive over 6-foot boulders. And, you know, we ended up
that's on
winching.
me.
It was
Oh
fine.
man,
Oh,
that was a
It was a
long
big bragging
afternoon.
point for me. Once I got back
Yeah.
here, I, you know, was telling the bosses, they're like, how did a Jeep camp go? I'm like, I ran part of Hal John's, drove over 6-foot boulders. And they're like, oh,
you didn't want it.
we got to get back to South Dakota. We need to, I want to run Hal John's, you know? I'm like,
I was so excited like after the day because like you get so complacent and like comfortable with like your comfort zone, and that pushed me out way outside of my comfort zone because when we drove by it, I saw the waterfall. I'm like, oh, we got this. I was like, hey, who wants to run the waterfall? Did not look farther down, and as soon as we got all three of you up, I just turned around and I'm like, oh, great.
Oh,
Saw
yeah.
that. Yeah, just a huge push out of even my comfort zone as like a spotter, trying to get everybody through and keep people on their lids. Made mistakes and learned from them. But
that's right.
when we got done, as soon as I got back in my Jeep, I was like, I cannot wait to tell Steve Berg about this. He's kind of been like my mentor, the guy that's taught me everything. I was so excited to get back to camp and tell him about it. And include the mistakes and let them know, you know, it was a learning process. But then I was like, now I understand why you have so many gray hairs.
So we got two comments on favorite Jeep camp
Yeah, we got
memories.
some comments swarming in.
Fire gatherings, which that one's pretty cool.
Yeah, those were so much fun.
It's definitely like a very social event. It's such a cool event just getting to see some of the same people every year. I definitely really like
Adam's
that.
kids talk so much smack.
We got love the wheeling and the history that Ty shared on Friday and Saturday, which, yeah, you definitely know a lot about that area, and it's really cool. Like doing like I think the night run last year, just some of the history you shared about like Galena and that area is super cool. It's such a cool area.
Yeah, I appreciate the comment.
And then this one's my favorite one. Your face on t-shirts was the best. Those t-shirts were epic. I love that they not only one, they had two different ones. It was great.
Yes. That whole scenario, I was over here like the whole t-shirt thing, for the record, complete surprise. The first one was like the whole design came from Allie, our treasurer, like several months ago. I was like, you remember those NASCAR t-shirts from the 90s? Like they have all the cool graphics. I was like, I want to do one of those. And she used this picture of me with this mullet. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to sell pictures or t-shirts with my face on it. And they took that to heart. So yeah, I had left to go to the gas station, and they're calling me. Josh specifically was calling me, hey dude, there's an emergency at the trailer. You got to get up here. And I'm like, great. Like, so I come up and the trailer's shut. I'm like, either we just got shut down or like someone's hurt. Something bad has happened. No, it's just my face on like 20 t-shirts.
That was awesome.
It was a good one. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside.
I guess for my favorite memory this year, probably Ty. So we got there and like signed in and everything. And Lee walks up, he goes, oh, there's my winch. And then
yeah.
And then we actually won the winch in the raffle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, should I get a lottery ticket too? Or because that was pretty like just what are the chances, 1 in a million that he just, oh yeah, there's my winch. That's 3 days earlier. Never would have thought.
Hey, I see Nathan and Julie. Well, thank you for putting up with me for that one. That was definitely a learning experience. So I'm glad I got to learn with you guys.
We all worked through it together.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was it. That was awesome. I'll definitely remember that.
Yeah, that's a big
deal.
Man, yeah.
Part of Jeep Camp is just the group outings and having to work together, and no matter what happens, like everybody's going to come together and get every Jeep out of the trail. It's just such a like pure core of what Jeep community should be. Like
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
love about boot camp.
I really I got to agree with you on that. There's so many events that happen all over the US, and I've been to a couple here outside the US. You know, obviously I do Jamboree as well, and Jamboree is a lot of fun, but both bring different experiences. And Jeep Camp, it's just so much fun, like sitting around the campfire with everybody. I was trying to explain this to a coworker the other day, and I'll try not to be long-winded, but like you get there, you hang out with everybody, then you go out and it's you and your buddies that you trust, like your friends, to get these people from all over the US through some of your favorite trails in one piece. That's the goal. And you get all dirty and sweaty and nasty, and you get done throwing rocks all day and pulling winch cable. You get back to camp, you grab a beer, and you're just like, is Denver back from Iceman yet? No, he's not back yet. Well, give it a couple hours and we'll go look for him. Oh, you know, and then an hour rolls. Oh, here comes Denver. How'd your day go? And then you just like share all the trail stories around the campfire. And then as the beers progress, everybody's sharing more and more and more. And, you know, it's just, to me, it is 100% the definition of what being like a Jeep guy is all about, or the Jeep life. You know, I try not to do the whole Jeep life thing, but like that's just four-wheeling in general. It's the definition of that. And that's what I love the most about it. That'll be some of my favorite memories.
I agree. I was telling stories also when I got back. You know, like my new friend Bill in his red TJ, he bent his tie rod, and I was telling somebody this story who's not a Jeep person. They're like, "Oh my gosh, so like, what did you do? How did you fix it?" And I'm like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe it. We all swarmed around, we all joined together, and everybody's trying desperately to help in any way they can, you know." I'm like, that's just how the Jeep community is. When it comes to any little issue, I mean, people are more than willing to do anything. They'll lift your Jeep, you know, and carry it out of there if they have to. So that's the Jeep community. We just all join together, and we're glad to help, glad to get dirty, glad to, you know, bust our knuckles and bleed a little bit if we have to. That's just how it is.
Makes for
yeah.
fun stories. It just makes for fun
Let's
stories,
see.
scenarios.
Yeah, it does. You know, and that's just yeah, that's a part of it. I don't think I would really exchange any of that stuff for the world. It was a really good time. And thank you guys for coming down. I mean, everybody that attended the event, like I don't know how many of you are watching this, but like you guys are what makes it. You guys are what makes this event. You know, we cap it right at like 60. In the past, I mean, it was 15, 20 Jeeps that were doing this, and now we've got that cap, but it's just because it makes it easier for us to focus on the experience, and it's a lot of fun this way. So let's see here. We did not pass out ducks at the event. There was one duck, and it was for the shiniest Jeep. He was the cleanest Jeep, that's for sure.
I believe brought a brand new 392 and then brought it to Jeep, and then didn't even
As you should.
Yep.
just didn't even want to.
Oh, we took it up Moses Hill.
I mean, I can't blame him too much. I mean, brand new 392. You got to be gentle to it at least for like 48 hours.
Yeah, he was.
That's how you break in a new Jeep, though. Just send it right out to the trails.
But
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much what we did with our Gladiator. It was like we bought it in August of 2019. And then I remember I was in school still in college, and he texted me and just told me to like come out to the, you know, the out of my engineering building, and he was waiting for me, and we went and took it up a rock crawling trail alone, not knowing what we were doing. We took a stock Gladiator. We went up maybe like, I don't know, the first section of the trail, and turned around at the bridge and went home because we're like, Jesus Christ, we're out of our element. This is too much.
So I guess I've got another Jeep Camp question. So obviously 60 rigs, and then there's probably another 20, 30 from club members. what was your favorite rig you saw out at Jeep Camp?
Other than my own?
Yes, other than your own.
Oh man,
I've
that's a tough one. I don't-
already got mine in mind.
Oh man, that is a tough one.
I always draw a blank on his name. He's been coming for several years. It was the all black YJ with the diesel swap. Absolutely love that Jeep.
That's
The
a good one.
second would be the stock Snazberry JLUR with the half doors, and it had the soft top that was all stripped down to the Safari top, just because it showed that new Jeeps can still get down. New Jeeps are still getting stripped down and put into the elements for 4 days of wheeling. That was probably my favorite too. So those two, it's tied, but the diesel YJ has always been one of my favorites that come.
It's still such a tough question.
I knew it was going to be a tough one.
I gotta say Kurt's CJ for one of them, for one of my top
Oh
ones.
yeah, V8 swapped is clean.
It's so clean. Like you would never, just looking at it, if you don't glance at it more than like a second, you just wouldn't realize what it is.
Oh, and
then
he's wheeled the crap out of it.
You see it on the trail, like it keeps up with, some pretty big vehicles. Like you would never realize just how well built that CJ is until you watch it in action or actually look at it.
He's an incredible driver too.
His wife is such a sweet lady too.
I would say my favorite last year was Mark's red XJ. I love that thing. It was so clean.
Oh yeah.
Somehow I'm a WJ guy, and I really love XJs. But this year, my favorite, I never learned his name. I think it might have been Tom. He also has an XJ, and he built it how I would. Yeah.
Yeah. Coil screen converted in the rear.
Yep. I'm editing the footage on my desktop, and I've got his Jeep pulled up over here. But yeah, it's like kind of a red color, and it's got those big color matched fender flares on it with the long arms in the rear, long arms in the front. And it looks so unassuming. It might be on 35s, but it's just low and looks like a stock Jeep.
Such an awesome rig.
Yeah, he came wheeling by me, and it just started flexing out. And I'm like, what do you got in that thing? He's like, no big deal.
While his rig is brought up, Thomas, he's actually the one that made all the trophies. So a big shout out to him. Every year when we do those trophies, he's the one that makes them all. So
those are really
cool. He did do Kong in that XJ. He did it in the snow and ice and when it was dry.
He did?
He did Kong in that XJ. So Kong, the story of Kong, I always thought it was named after like King Kong. No, the story is because you got to have brass balls to run that trail. And when those brass balls get to knocking around, they're making that Kong noise.
Oh, man.
Name comes from?
Yep, that's what the name comes from. I did not believe it. Because even my little trail stickers I made have King Kong on them. But no, it's because of the big old brass balls.
You're going to have to update your sticker.
Yep, I am.
I need to order some of those stickers too.
I'll get it all set up. It started off as like a trial run, see how popular they were, and they were way more popular than I anticipated. So I think I'm gonna do like a serious run coming up.
I did.
Well,
I could recommend a site for you if you haven't tried one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after this. Let's see here. We're out here. So I'm in the Black Hills of South Dakota, the western side of the state, and that's where this 4-wheel drive event takes place. So Black Hills Jeeps host it. It's called Jeep Camp, and it's 4 days of 4-wheeling and camping in the Black Hills. Our club charges per spots. We cap it at 60, and we pretty much, when you get out here, you register, and then each morning you sign up for your trails. And we take you out to go 4-wheeling. We spot you. We're out there pulling your winch cable, throwing rocks, telling you where to put your tires, and making sure you get home in one piece for the most part. That's our goal. Sometimes it's a hard goal to reach, I guess. This year specifically on day one. So It is a lot of fun. Let's see here.
Yeah, what was the comment?
Gotta learn more about.
I'm in
Yeah, you
Bismarck.
gotta run Kong next.
So we're in Bismarck, North Dakota. It's about a 5-hour drive to get to the Black Hills. So really pretty doable, but it's probably the most boring drive in existence. Like it's pretty boring. But
That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
it's a little, it feels very long, but it's definitely well worth it to get to the hills.
Yeah. And then Iron Rock, we're in Minnesota. We're just south of the Twin Cities in Shakopee, Minnesota. So most people don't pronounce that right, but we're just know that we're south of the Twin Cities in Minnesota.
American-made parts, right here in the U.S. of A.
That's right.
They were there and pronounced it wrong for 4 years. I thought it was Shakopee.
Yeah.
Shock.
Yep. And but we wheel in northern Minnesota. The northern half of the state is just all trees, just wall-to-wall trees.
It's the Iron Range, right?
Yep, and you go far enough up there. We have the Iron Range where all the iron mines used to be, and we have one really big park that used to be an iron mine, and it's a state park, so you can go there as long as you pay for the permit, and I think it's like 400 acres of wheeling.
Holy
from
cow.
anything wild to wild. It is a lot of fun up there.
What is the wheeling like in Iron Range?
A lot of people are scared of it because you literally are wheeling on really jagged, like iron rock. And I've cut a tire there, didn't even know about it. But there's some really jagged rock. A lot of the earth looks like it's rusting. It looks like Mars, I think. But it's all man-made because it's an old iron mine. So it's a lot of the trails that the miners used. But I've been there in a stock vehicle before and had a blast. I've been there in things that are almost rock buggies and had a blast also. So there's everything that you could want there. A lot of elevation change, poles, mud, some mud. It's always a lot of fun though.
Here is similar, and I see your question there. So east side of the state, ton of water right now. They're getting flooded out. West side of the state, I mean, we're just living life. We got our hailstorms and stuff, but it's been pretty good. We're definitely not flooded out. But wheeling here, so we're a part of the Black Hills National Forest, and there's several different types of land to wheel out here. There's Bureau of Land Management land, and there is the Black Hills National Forest. Majority, if not 99% of the wheeling is on Black Hills National Forest. We've got about 1,500 miles of roads open to all, which those can be classified as like a gravel road or 2-track or a section of 2-track where you need 4-low. It just really depends, but they have a different classification. There is about, 350-ish miles of UTV only, and that is UTV only, 62 inches or less. There's about 150 miles of trails open to all, and within that 150 miles, there's about 25 miles of rock crawling. But if you were to come out here for a weekend and try and do them all, you would think that there is way more than 25 miles of rock crawling. It's definitely got a cool variety. There is stuff for everybody out here to wheel. You have to buy a $25 trail pass, and you just have to make sure you're using the motor vehicle use map to navigate out here and staying on trail. That's pretty much it. The rest of it is awesome wheeling.
It's our go-to. I mean, I'm not an expert wheeling. Here in Bismarck, we have this in a little off-road park known as the Desert. I mean, it's pretty much just sand, but it's an awesome place just to get out of the house, go get some sun. You can drive right up to the river for better or for worse. There's been a lot of vehicles that end up in the river in the wintertime because you can't tell where the edge of the river is in the wintertime when it freezes and the water level rises. And then decent stuff has been what we have to do.
I didn't catch that last part.
So I'm told there's some decent stuff in like the western half of the state and northwestern near Williston, but we haven't made it up there yet. We're not native North Dakota.
Because there's what's it called? You guys have like a Badlands, and then there's the Cliffhangers. The North Dakota has like the Cliffhangers Club, and they've got like some private land that they wheel on. So that section was a blast. Section 9 of Hal Johns. I think that's what Zach's talking about. Yeah, I've actually, let's see what, here it is. I've got a couple gray hairs in here from that.
That's why
the
we're
chili
at,
challenge.
so you can't see them.
Yeah.
I dye my hair.
I'll embrace it. I'll just get peppered. It's okay.
Well,
One of my army buddies said, I don't have gray hairs, they're chrome.
They're chrome. There we go.
Yeah.
Car guy speak.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to do Kong. I think the one day that we ran, I think it was Calamity Full Size that we were down there, and a couple of the guys from Wyoming went and ran Kong, and everybody's like, you should do Kong with the LJ. We're like, it's only our second outing with this Jeep. We're not like.
The LJ would have eaten it up. You would have eaten it up.
We slightly regret not doing it. We're doing it next year.
Yeah. Let's do it next
year. Yeah.
We're doing Kong next time we're down there. We'll bring it down. We'll do Kong.
Are you going to have the YJ on Kong?
Oh, yeah. Yes. The whole game plan is within the next 2 months to be able to go out and just kind of not be self-conscious about beating up the YJ. Again, my biggest concern is to get out there and something with the fuel lines go wrong and I start a fire. That is my biggest concern right now, because we are going into our dry season. While we are getting a lot of rain and the eastern side of the state might not look like it, we're getting ready for our dry season, and I would absolutely hate to go out and start a wildfire. This is a place that I love, and I want to make sure that that Jeep is ready to go, so that way if something does happen, it's not that big of an issue. If it's like, something comes loose or something small breaks, different story. But when it comes to the fuel lines, I'll just drive it down the block to get Starbucks coffee every once in a while. Mike, it is a mall crawler as of right now. But here in the next 2 months, I'll try and get out and use it, just because, it's a 3-link front with a 4-link rear, coilovers front and rear. We stretched it 4 inches in the rear, 5 inches in the front, and moved the steering gear up. It's on JL axles with 37s, and it's got a 4-liter and an AW4 transmission from a Cherokee in it. It is totally a spare parts rig. But we'll see how it does.
No, I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, me too. But so I guess we've got enough people in the comments. I kind of want to hear, I'm pretty certain we've got a couple of people that were at the event. What were some of your favorite parts? I know we heard a little bit from Tweener LJ, and I think John's in here too, but just throw it out in the comments what you guys liked. But other than that, man, the event went super smooth. Besides everybody breaking on the first day, you can't complain.
Oh, it was a great year. It was such a good year. I think
good food.
I think we were saying
yes.
Best Jeep camp yet. This is our 4th year in a row. I think Lee and I were saying
what was that?
Best so far.
Say it for the louder in the back, louder for the people in the back. I like that. That I'm gonna pass that on, just because it was a lot of people's first year having hands-on with the event, and a lot of people. There was little changes. Some things got forgot, some things this, that, and the other, but it was great. It was really great. The people that ran it, I can't take credit. I just showed up and said, put your tires here. So the people that actually got out, and did this, it was incredible.
If anything was forgotten,
I don't think anybody noticed, though, in the food, the pulled pork. Yeah, Brandon and Sean, 2 of our club members, they started working on that 2 months beforehand, just smoking it and freezing it. And that was so good.
They did a job.
Yeah.
There was
So,
some leftovers. I was tempted to bring some back to Minnesota.
Yeah, definitely favorite year so far. I agree, Nathan. Best year yet.
Heck yeah. So it's only going to get better from here. You know, I think a lot of guys in the club had like eye openings to how hard this stuff gets, including myself. And we're going to be coming in next year ready to party.
I'm ready already. We've already got a cabin reserved.
Heck yeah.
I've already got like vacation in the books at work.
Nice.
They all kind of make
Yeah,
fun
we've already got our tent city is ready to go. But, well, other than that, I've got like, other than thanking everybody for coming out, you know, especially you, Adam, and Iron Rock, you guys the last 2 years, I mean, they literally were up to bat ready to sponsor a trail this year. One of the trails passed through Bureau of Land Management land as well as private property. And getting the permits for that was a process and a half, but we got it done and they were ready to just, how can we help? How can we do this? Like Iron Rock played a huge role in the last 2 years, and especially this year with helping get everything pushed forward for the Iron Rock and Roll Trail we hosted. So a huge thank you goes to the team at Iron Rock and Adam for coming out and supporting the event.
Well, Ty, you make it easy.
And of course,
Yeah,
as attendee, like awesome year. You guys did a fantastic job with everything. And it's my like highlight of the summer every year. So definitely looking forward to coming back next year and the year after and after that.
Cool.
You guys do a fantastic job. It's just so much fun to go as an attendee.
Yep.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that.
I would like to say also thank you to Ty and all the Black Hills Jeeps guys. When I came back from Jeep Camp last year and told everybody here at Iron Rock about it, I had everybody in the company was like, I got to go next year. Jeep Camp sounds awesome. I got to go next year. Our machinists, one of our welders, even our bosses. My boss personally is like, I want to retire out in the Black Hills. I got to go. You know, but the way it worked out this year, it's just one right after the next. I had something come up, you know, I had something else. But I said, I can't miss it. Brought my kids with. They had a great time. I mean, It's just like family. It's instant friendships everywhere. And that's the same reception I had this year. Just instant friendships. Everybody just clicked and it all worked.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. So thank you guys all for coming. Seriously, like it's so much fun to get to share this stuff with you guys in our backyard. So I guess, do you guys have more talking points? Because I'm trying to think of other things to go over with the event, but it was just smooth sailing.
I mean, I'm wondering when we can go wheeling again.
Oh yeah. You guys reach out, let us know. You know, everybody in the club's always willing to get out. So I'm definitely ready to get out. That's actually after this. I think I'm going to go putt around a little bit.
Hey, we're all neighbors here, right? So, I mean, we're all in 3 different states, but we're all neighbors here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
You guys should come to our event in August. I'll show you what the Iron Range is like.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. So, yeah,
like to
that'd be a lot of fun.
Sounds like fun.
That's something that, like, if you look, I think it was Mike was asking for the channel. If you look at my channel, there was like a solid 6-month gap. And that's because the motor in my Cherokee at last year's Jeep Camp, right after the earth punched my rock slider, I noticed that I had very low oil pressure and a lot of noise coming from it. And it just got louder and louder. We eventually pulled the motor and put a new one in. So it's just making sure that thing's ready to go. I've got like 20-some hundred miles on it already. And we literally put the motor in the week before Jeep Camp. So I'm trying to put some miles on it. And if it keeps going how it's going, I'm going to have to try and make that drive out to the Iron Range, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm excited to see the write-up.
Yeah, me too.
It was
Yeah, I guess
awesome having everybody out there. Yeah.
it was a great year, and I guess I probably will have 3 videos coming out in the near future. I'm almost done with the first one, and there's no end in sight for the next 2. But
I'm hoping to just squeeze it all into one. Last year I broke it into 2, but
Mhm.
I'll have a couple, social media posts and at least one YouTube channel coming up,
There we
or
go.
one YouTube video.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, I just kind of got caught up in hanging out with everybody. It's not often I get to see a lot of these people. I get to hang out with you, Adam, and you, Val. Like, it's not often that get everybody in one place like that. So I was like, this year I'm going to focus on just hanging out. And man, thank you guys. Val, thank you for hosting this. This was a lot of fun. This is kind of my first live joint thing, really. Last time, if you are an old subscriber of my channel, you remember the last time I did this, I tried to test a air compressor off of my battery and ended up shocking the ever-living crap out of myself right as the camera died. So everybody
Nice.
saw me shock myself, and then the camera die. So I have not had a live since then. Thank you for hosting this, Val.
of course,
Yes.
yeah, it was fun to get everybody together and talk about the event because, I mean, it's, like I said, highlight of my summer every year. So yeah, with that, I guess we'll end the live stream.
That's cool.
Everybody for tuning in, and thank you to Ty and Adam for joining me to talk about Jeep Camp.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, thanks a ton, Val. This is fun.
Thanks,
See you guys later.